Hello and welcome to another jungle guide, and in this one we are having a look at a bit of a coaching session overview. And so we have the 70% win rate Nocturne player who was Platinum Hardstuck for the longest time, has finally moved to EU West and has finally gotten out of Platinum and moved into Diamond, and we're going to look at the pros and cons of his style, what you can learn from him and what you need to take from him in terms of improvement so that all of you can reach Diamond, no matter how Hardstuck you might be. So full-on coaching VODs are available on my Patreon along with coaching signups. Obviously these coaching sort of videos are less effects based and more just pure knowledge based. For more motion blur, lasers, digital maps, and condensed knowledge, please have a look at the rest of the channel. Okay, so obviously, you know, playing in this MMR range when you have reached Diamond 4, those habits that you developed that got you here are obviously going to be highly valuable. So we'll look at not only this game where we kind of have a less than typical carry game, and we'll also look at a game which has a more prototypical start, full clear, ganking your side lanes, controlling crabs. So I'll split up the video into those two sections, obviously. Here, Farming Jungler, if you're worried about invades, if you're worried about any sort of nonsense, you can put a ward here at 1 minute, reset, get a scanner. I don't really think for Nocturne that this is nearly as necessary as if you were playing on a ganking jungler, because obviously in this situation, if you're against another Farming Jungler like an Olaf, who's gonna go all the way up, then you know, having this ward, if you were able to do a 6-cam faster, good things happen. Usually you could 5-cam faster for sure. Get a crab, gank mid lane, get another crab. You can then ward this for that 418-ish, 420-ish Grom, right? Which is obviously what you want to use against other farming junglers to track them. Even if you have one yourself, we are rushing 6. We're not always going to have the highest KP. We are always looking to have as much impact as possible, but our goal is still to farm and play around our ultimate. You could look here for a gank on the mid lane. We are level 3 now, okay? And level 3, let's just look, let's pause it here, okay? Let's look. This is where he is by comparison, all right, as an Olaf. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea of where Olaf can be, which means as Nocturne, you basically have to think, listen, what can I do to get ahead of him on the map? Now, of course, you have to track the Camille here. You know, if she disappears out of vision and comes back up, most likely placed a ward, same thing mid lane. And now what happens is she hits 3, nice fat wave coming up to the Garen, who's going to use his Warmog's passive to regenerate himself. Now, this is not necessarily the best gank in terms of raw theory, right? Because there's a huge cannon wave. But because we did the wolves, it allows the time to crash, which means that Garen can help us go in here. So we have the hook shot, we flash with it to get the fear. We have the ignite going through from Algaron, and she flashes, the Q misses, skill shot, you hit that, you get the kill, but Garen says, Demacia. And then, you know, she dies. So that's a good example, and we would have seen the Olaf there, of getting on the field before the enemy jungler, even if they full clear faster. Something, again, we looked at in the most recent video. See, I would hit this. He does not even consider the fact that the Nocturne ganked before doing Blue Grom by tracking CS, and now he's just going to go and look to get a second crab. So he shows himself, runs across, and is going to go for the second one. Fortunately for him, he has Prio on the bot side, and you know, this is the thing. You're talking D4, D3 junglers in this, right? If you do these things that the Nocturne's doing, that he does well, you will get to Diamond. You will get out of Platinum, right? It's the adaptability of your pathing and the intelligence of how you navigate the whole game in terms of being everywhere, putting up the fires. Now here, this is also a very good one. We did use our scanner very well, okay? Not that we really needed it, because we're just pulling the trigger on the gank anyway, but Garen hasn't reset. Camille has. She saved her TP, which means we want to abuse her. Again, skill shot misses. This is something we need to work on. Tether range, nothing she can do because she engaged with it. Boom, dead. Now we can shove. Now we deny. She's forced to TP. She's losing so much CS. And the downside to doing this is if the enemy jungler shows up here, right, and maybe does something here, and then you show up again immediately, he can easily steal your tier 2 Krugs, and you can do nothing about it. And the Olaf obviously gets nothing going, and it's going to fall back to a second sequence. Now, he could literally just do it all again, right, and then show up a bot lane. So for us, we need to think about what we want to accomplish on the map. So what I'm not a fan of here is we're going for the wolf camp, and then I assume we're going to go down because there's not much else we can do. The Olaf, if we don't see him, okay, he does the dragon. So this is random information in game. You don't really fully expect this, do you? If he does a crab here, which we would have seen, you expect maybe boom, boom, back to base, or boom, boom, full clear, back to base, or back to base, and then straight on down, and then full clear. You know, you're not really expecting him to go straight on to the dragon. He did, because he's Olaf and he can. If we sequenced appropriately, you know, Krugs, Raptors, we'd be on the Raptors right now, but the Krugs would be dead, which means we now be pathing upward. If this is gankable, you can then cut the map, knowing that the Olaf is definitely basing at this point. There's no ways that he can stay out much longer. And you know what? Actually, that's a lie, because it's Olaf, so he could, but it would be dumb. And in Platinum, in Gold, in Low Diamond, they're going to stay out this long in a dumb way. And it's going to cost them. So this extended sequence from the Olaf, if he does decide to stay out all the way again, you can punish this. However, the point being, if you go Krugs, Raptors up, okay, yes, these won't be up, but maybe you can repeat gank this. Maybe, right? If Olaf shows bot lane, for whatever reason, you can then go and cut and take this, 6 and ult the Camille, or 6 and ult the mid lane, okay? So it opens up a lot of avenues for success that can help you. By pathing down now, you're spaghetti pathing. We moved here, we're moving down here. We've already gone over this, which means you're wasting time, which means there are windows on the map that you are not exploiting. And that is something that you know, it's not too big of a deal here, because if you're in the right position, you'll be able to make the right play, but in a lower elo, sorry, a higher elo game, it becomes a bit of an issue. So Lord Olaf, okay, as you would have seen from the glitches, has fallen back to wolves. We see him here, 41 CS, he hits the axe, we have the root, boom, boom, boom. Valhalla strikes, and now we get to push this wave. Now again, if we were here, crossing over to the wolves instead of to the Krugs, you'd be able to rotate to this, hold this wave, get 6, and maybe do some kind of cleanup. And now we see him go up, 45 CS, we see him move up. Is he resetting? Is he staying out? We don't actually know just yet. Point being, we could have taken this, held this. Now you're going to move up top lane and take this, but you'd be 6. So if he does gank this, right, as a transition gank, which is possible because he just went in for Demacia, you again could ult it. So, why'd you do it, Garen? Oh, okay. I don't know what I'm watching in this top lane, but it is enjoyable. And now the comments come out, but they're diamond and I'm not diamond. Nah, they're diamond. They would have killed you in bronze. Here we go. Here's Olaf, 49 CS, which means he did his Raptors. He misses the axe. She goes for hookshot. She misses it. He's tanking it. Unstoppable. He spins to win. Doesn't really matter. And Demacia. You see this? 2 things that the Olaf did we could have been present in and gotten us an even bigger lead. Excuse me. Nice. Yes, we would have lost a dragon. But that's a random thing. That's not something that's going to happen a lot. The problem is, with the inefficient pathing, okay, look at this. You're waiting for crab. If you're waiting for camps to your 10 seconds for a camp, you have to ask yourself, what could I have been doing otherwise? Now here, I do like the concept of stealing the blue, but of course bot lane is missing. Bot lane might be resetting, and we have our ultimate, so you'll see in the next game, in the second section, we want to use that immediately. Fear from the Vex, Q from the Nocturne, we do hit that one. Fear will go through, even if she has flash, and she dies. She should have tried to flash the Fear tether, but it doesn't really matter. And again, you could look just to push for experience, but look at this. This for me is giga inefficient pathing overall, but he has played extremely well. I'm going to show you all the positives that he has that got him to diamond. And a lot of these are still positive. He's still 2-0-1. He had good repeat ganks. He cut his first clear short. You will see in the next game a lot of positives as well. And you're going to see in this game huge amounts of plays being made just by being Nocturne and being in a position to do so. So we do this, we cut this, we take this. Now, obviously for me, this is not good because way too much spaghetti pathing. 2 counter ganks lost. Yeah, we used our ultimate, but overall, we could have done those things easily at the same time as managing farming in the middle. But we do know that Olaf, after staying out and dying on the top lane tower, they will reset. You'll have his Grump coming up, you'll have his Blue coming up, you'll have his Wolves coming up, which means we anticipate he should, in theory, show up on the bottom lane. So we position ourselves for a counter gank. We do have scanner. Always first back, get your scanner. If you do keep that vision, that warding totem for your early phases. We scan, good. Don't walk into the second bush and don't scan. This happens way too much in lower elo. Even Platinum Jungle, so just walk into this and be like, yes, yes, boss, we can do it. I mean, if you didn't scan, you don't know. Oh, look, Olaf shows up. Now, we know he uses alt top lane because we would have tracked that. And he walks over this ward. Very, very nice. I think you could easily shadow this, to be honest with you. We have our ult available, which is what's curious to me. But, you know, if he's going to waste... Look at this. Look at this. This is what you have to defeat. So when you see a Diamond 4 jungler like this, okay, he's worried Nocturne's going to ult, so he's forced just to wait. He's just leeching experience from his bottom lane here. Brand actually does ding 6. They move up. Karma moves down. Vex is going to follow. Now here again, he's doing it as well. Look at this. Waiting. Wasting time. This is something that hangs over from Platinum, and when you as a Diamond jungler learn to not do this, you will be giga huge. Now, we see this. What could we have been doing? Quiz yourself. What could we have been doing while we watched the Olaf, I don't know, scratch his pubes and sharpen his axes on a rock in the river and play a Wordle? Who knows what he was doing? Checking his OnlyFans subscriptions. We could have done the Raptors. We see him. We could have hit this hippity hoppity over the wall and just start doing the Krugs. And as soon as you see him move in, you're in position now to kite this in and out. You've removed this mobility from him. You know the Karma moved on down. and you can just farm while shadowing. He has played well so far, and we will observe. Hello, Olaf, whose ult is now available as well. We are now, instead of worrying about him, we go bot lane. And I like this. I like this, because Lucian is very, very low. So we're just going to go straight in here, knowing that the Olaf has ditched the zone, and get ourselves... Do we get a cheeky double? Do we get a cheeky... Very nice. Let's push the wave. Let's push the wave. Nice and fast. Nice and fast. Because we want Herald. And you will see, hello. Now Olaf is going to think, yes, I can do this. Make sure you use your spell sheet appropriately. Disgusting damage from everyone. But again, Olaf. Complete ape coin mode. I don't think we want to stay for this. We could, you know what I'd like to see actually is go for this RNG crab. So what you should be doing is pushing this and immediately moving to this 3 dead. All right. You know, just quickly take it. Back to base. And now we're worried about this. We need this. It's a little late for this because of all the weird pathing we've had, and we've not optimized our experience. The only core thing I wanted to say to this jungler was his CS per minute overall is definitely lacking for farming jungler, but he finds himself ulting and tracking and being in a position to make plays, and that's the biggest thing to get diamond, okay? That's the absolute biggest thing. We're not in the right place. You know, if we take this and she dies 1v1 and Olaf shows up with the crab, that means he forsaked his top side, which means if he wants to spend time doing this, I'll happily take all of this, ult this baby, and just rinse this tower. Obviously 5 plates is not ideal, but you know, you can look to just damage it, don't have to actually use your plates. Fall back down to this, reset, and now you can ult bot lane or go bot lane, and then maybe push a few more plates, right? So that's huge. However, we go back to our wolves and we sequence down, we see bot lane over committing, and he ults in. And I do like that. I do like this, yes? I like the fact that he is looking for plays to make around his ult. As soon as his ult is up, he's using it. As soon as his ult is up, he's looking, probing, seeing where he can get in on the action. A lot of lower elo players would just be sequencing up here, and, you know, your bot lane dies. So he says, no, I see this, I'm going to do my wolves and come on down. Olaf, again, not topside. So you're seeing a lot of the same issues with these D4 junglers on EU West, by the way, not NA, on EU West. And that means if you watch my videos a lot, and you understand the way I sort of talk about jungle as a, see now we do take the dragon from this play, but we overstay because the whole team respawns and they're coming down. So again, all of this is unnecessary. Good plays, considering where we are. In theory, we shouldn't even be there. So the fact is, we lost the dragon, and we're gonna lose a herald, and I don't like that. But with 6-1-2, we are present on the map. We're doing our best to get ourselves fed and hold our team. Those are my pros, those are my cons from what I'm seeing so far. Garen kills Olaf, Olaf kills Garen, which means we might be able to sneak something. We do have smite available. We do clear the wards. I mean, it resets, unfortunately, which means you have to probably give it up because Brand is moving. Oh, whoa, there we go. Low target into the fight. That's exactly what you want to do as Nocturne. Double kill, good. Farming, solid. Counter ganking, decent. Ult usage, very, very good. Early adaptation, nice. With my optimizations, you will find that you probably end up with at least 1 herald, 1 dragon for sure. The jungler you will defeat easily, and as a benefit, you will... Wait. There we go. Okay, now we get ulted. We do have Tether Fear, but we will most like... Renata Glass did things for us. That's the first time I've seen that champion do anything remotely not stupid and int in any game. Literally the first time. Great, thanks for that. Anyway, and you will also not only have all the things you didn't get this game, but you will still have 10 kills. You still have 1 death, you still have 2 assists. Actually, hopefully, if you watch the last video, you'll have no deaths. Everything I said will allow you to make the same kinds of plays, okay, while still accomplishing everything he has accomplished. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Again, if someone's split pushing it very low, make sure we do that. I didn't click on it because you can see the frames, obviously. And then now we can simply farm one up. And then obviously you're going to go and look to, you know, get your death downs, get your core itemization. And now this 3rd dragon, if you've lost the first 2, it's time to make moves, all right? Don't forget, just pull the trigger. Look how fed you are with this itemization, Strikebreaker. Strikebreaker is so good on Nocturne because it allows you to stay close to people. Obviously, in this particular situation, you have the support that can help you, but knowing how to play around your team is the most important thing. A lot of times people with good teammates, all right, with a Renata Glass like this, or with a Yumi like this, or with a Lulu like this, are not going in. Now, what I don't like is we're going down, all right? We have a huge lead, we're going down. Why? Let's cut up, let's take this, let's go top lane with Renata Glass, let's push this full back, let's take the 2nd Herald, boom, boom, reset, recoalesce as a team, look to push out our waves, decide if we want a 1-3-1, decide if we want a 5-man split push, decide what we want to do, I don't like, you see, the support is doing this. This is the right play from her. We could have easily moved into the top side here and not fallen back to our camps. So pushing the map doesn't stop with that play, you know? Let's get into their jungle now. Let's use our lead to really push up. And your team makes plays here, and obviously, you know, sometimes your team won't. But I do have a lot of videos that can help you explain and learn what to do in those particular situations. All right, so now we're away from our team. So if our team wipes and dies, you can lose the game. And that's what's important to note here. Yes, in this game, it's fine. A lot of because of what we've done. But in other games when it's not fine, you lose. Because you were on Krugs instead of up here doing cool things. And you could have killed everyone and gotten the Herald. And this. Isn't that better? I think it's better. Definitely think it's better. So that's something to look for in the mid game as a Nocturne and as a jungler in general. But now essentially you can farm pretty easily. You can push up maps very easily. You can kill anyone very easily. If there are no numbers advantage, now we can fall back to our camps and farm. That's fine. Okay. Again, not perfect. So again, this is good positioning from the Nocturne, okay? What have I always said, and what did I say in the last video? If you guys are coalescing in the mid lane and grouping in the mid lane, don't go Wolves Gromp, because you're probably now the opposite direction. You're not going to be able to do anything, yeah? You're here, they're here. Sure, Nocturne doesn't have to move very far, but if you're another jungler, it's going to be tough. So here you could just do Gromp Wolves, and again, wait. Like, there's no reason to wait here this long. You can do Gromp, you can do Wolves. If you see a trigger pull, you don't really need to finish the Wolves. You can just ult right in, you know, and you get an extra 4 CS in there. So that's where a lot of the gold and the farming comes in. So make sure you guys think about that. See, there's no reason to wait for this because you could have easily just done the Gromp in the meantime. Okay, so Noct goes in, Vex goes in, and that is absolutely diseased for the red team. And I'm going to say that's a GG. Less likely to throw here, but only if we push the map up. We should have the second Herald, which of course we do. We did get it in the end, yeah, but we should have had it before. We could have made the play differently. In the end, if you make right plays overall and you play around your ultimate, you do what he did, you will be in the right position to win these games easily. You will easily carry platinum games and gold games through this kind of style, yeah? But let's jump to another game where a few more difficulties can show up and how we need to read the map, but also again showing the pros and cons of his playstyle. Pros and what you want to copy, cons in terms of what you want to take away, but then improve on yourselves. We're going to go ahead and do here our, very close in the mid lane. Good job, Ari. And we're going to stitch together our blue and Gromp. There we go. Now, Jinx has got an assist and died. Soigné has got that 1 kill, obviously getting buffed in the next patch. Here we go. Carly kills the giant Scion, the Baboose. Everyone wants to be Baboose nowadays, don't we? Glory to Baboose in Korea. May he succeed. May you guys not play that in any solo queue games that matter, because you need to understand macro, and most of you don't. So here we go, beautifully set up lane actually. Considering the first blood kill, the bot lane kind of just stuck around, knowing that the Nocturne gets leashed on the top side. So good free flash on the tether, and then we turn. So that's great target selection. I really like seeing that in ganks. When you guys think about your ganks and farming junglers, it's very important that you focus on your direction and having intentional misdirect, right? We're going to throw out our Q here onto the Rakan, and we're going to start the tether. This forces his flash. We're not dealing and sucking in our vision onto the Xayah. We know that she's over here, and if we were watching this trade earlier, instead of having, you know, a discussion about jungling, because in game, you're not being coached, and you're not doing the coaching, so use your F keys to have a look, we would see that the Xayah still has her flash, but, you know, for her to save it, it's very impressive, actually. Most people would waste it. I mean, she's dead, save it, live to fight another day. Now we're going to move on into the blue side jungle here. We're going to see this ward. Volibear shows top lane with 28 CSs. What does that tell you immediately? The dude did a full clear plus crab, and that's quite late for Volibear. I mean, showing up here at 4 minutes with no other impact is kind of weird. So there's no real reason for us to go to the Raptor camp because we know it's down if we did 28, but we don't want to walk through here where they see us, where we know it's warded. So we have good vision control here, making sure there's no cannon or any sort of waves, and we can go ahead and snack this. Now the Volibear will think that the Nocturne is already reset going to his Krugs and down again, which means he's not gonna, you know, try and do the same thing because he has not seen the Nocturne do it. So what we'll do is we'll finish this off. You can look here if there is a good gank again, right? If your bot lane doesn't need to reset, but your Swain does. I mean, the dude needs to base. You could wait a bit longer, but Volibear is gonna show up with itemization spikes in theory, so you don't really want to be in a position where that's the situation, right? Here's where things get interesting, and I think I would love to see Diamond players think a bit more dynamically. What are you doing right now? You're gonna go Krugs, Raptors, Wolves, Gromp again, yes? Pretty simple. If there's a gank to be made here before you farm, we can do that. if there's a gank to be made mid lane after your red side quadrant, we can do that as well. Please see, the thing is, because you took so long to go back to base for your first rotation, you know the developer is going to look to move on down to this side, okay? It's unlikely he goes back to the top side again. This is literally not going to happen. If it does, randomness, and we will win from this randomness, right? We can punish the randomness. But in this scenario here, what's going to happen is the developer is going to move on down, realize his Krugs are stolen, and might even look to just go ahead and gank the bot lane. That's why this ward is juicy. So what this does is it protects your bot lane and it allows you to see if he's gonna, gank and then Krugs or Krugs and then gank. But of course the Krugs are not here in the situation, right? So the dude might show up and say, oh, they're gone, and he goes up to the Raptors, and now he can carry on sequencing. What I'm concerned about as the Nocturne here is what if he doesn't know this is warded? What if he was always planning on going Raptors, Krugs into the gank, into the dragon, into collapsing on your second sequence down? We currently have a bit of advantage in that we could match that unexpectedly. Because you took so long to go ahead and go back to base in your first rotation, gank, move around, counter jungling the tier 2 Krugs, back to base, you could in theory just go Wolves, catch your second Gromp, so you've got a nice sequence here, but be in a position to reactively path and counter gank should the Volibear try and do this. Then you get the dragon. But it will allow you then to get 6 topside while looking on the Herald. So basically you're exchanging a level 6 spike bot ult with Dragon Control, Counter Gank, and Jungle Denial, allowing you to use 6 on the mid and the top side while getting a Herald. Okay, and we're gonna be farming our Krugs and so on, and we're gonna have a look to see what happens here. And ward dies, and there he is. Okay, so he shows up here, which you might think, oh, benefit of the doubt. Yeah, but this is warded in game. If you don't see this in game, that's your fault. If you want to get diamond, right, and you want to get done with a good win rate, this is the shit you can really, really punish. Because what are you going to do when you see this? You're going to press tab, and you see 3 smite charges, which means at this point he has one available, which means he could easily go and do something here, but he hasn't reset. So our whole concept was he went back to base from the top side, spent his cash monies. He's going to look to gank bot lane and fall back and do stuff. He's going to look to farm and then gank bot lane and then look to do stuff. But in reality, he obviously shadowed all the way down somehow. This wave was pushed a bit, so you can obviously sneak through the back here. Took his Raptors again. Krugs are gone, right? He's looking to do a clean 6 clear, which I talked about in a video that I will link below when I can remember the exact title. Very important concept about, your first rotation getting 6 camps cleared, 2 buffs. It's very important in terms of your tempo control, but he's not done it in an efficient way. And so we see this, and now I'm not really concerned about the dragon, right? This would be results based. If you can say, well, I'm going to sequence some Krugs down now. Look, Volibear has no items, there's no threat. Yeah, but you didn't know that. It's weird that the Volibear is doing this. This is the randomness. And as I said, the randomness can and will be punished. Because what's going to happen to the Volibear now when he goes for this lane gank? He's going to go back to base. There's nothing he can do. He could stick around and maybe do that crab, but now he's worried about Nocturne cutting the map. Because as Nocturne, you could cut the map here and just go straight to it. Now, I think the Nocturne didn't realize the Volibear had not spent, okay? And that's why we did not go for this. That's why Swain's hitting this. Volibear can do it without basing, but this would be inherently risky. We saw him on the bot lane there. I told you 32 CS, no Krugs. We see him top lane here again, 36, 40, which means he's done his whole blue side second sequence again. We are 6, which means we pull the trigger on the dragon. Is it something we want to look for? No, but it's definitely something that you can, it is something you want to look for, but it's not something you want to force and die over. And a lot of low elo players are dying over dragons. Here we're not forcing it, right? And of course, if we're doing that tracking, as I said, you'll get to diamond very easily because you'll know that this is available. This is available. This is available. You can do a lot of things in this game right now. And I do think we want to use the 6 as soon as possible. And we're looking at mid lane here as a potential engage because both are low and Katarina's cannot help themselves. So unfortunately, we won't steal the red. Maybe we can get an ult off. Patience. There we go. There we go. There we go. Good charm. Didn't matter. She dies anyway, but we clean it up. Now this wave's neutral. We don't really want to push this. But, unethical jungle climbing tips. You can do that. Now at this point, the Volibear most likely will be looking to go bottom side. And now we're floating to the top side. So for me personally, I think we're out of mana. We do want to go back to base and spend our gold. But we know Volibear is going to be arriving here to some degree. I would have preferred to maybe see a finish off of this quadrant and maybe shadow this and then base. So we could be here. Because we know that because we push that wave, the Ahri is not going to really be able to go to the mid lane. And you can see this transpire. Oof, flash burn. If you were busy floating down with the Ahri, maybe we could do something. You know what I mean? Like this is a play that could be made. and then you can fall back and now you can go top side, handle your business, handle your business, handle your business. It's not wrong to go to the red side here, but you're kind of detaching yourself from where the volleyball is going to be, and I like people trying to match that quite often. So Ari goes and makes plays anyway. Like, Ari does it. And this is where you can kind of say, well, this is coin flip. My team did good. Yes. So the alternative was not being coin flip, right? The alternative was being the difference maker by being present. Although we are using this time to go top lane here. We're going to use a tether flash onto the Akali. She's going to execute the Baboose. And now she's going to flash out, burn damage from the red, and we get the final auto attack. So if you're not going to make that matching play, and you see Volibear down there wasting his time, make another play somewhere else on the map. Because, you know, you're not always going to make the right read. And it's important that we are able to react to things. So we're just going to push this out as well. We do have a random crab on the top side. This is, of course, the threat if you go down when you're low and out of mana. So we're going to have to give that up. But we are 2 levels ahead. So everything that we wanted has been achieved. We have Stride Breaker ready to go. And we see here, we're most likely going to lose this now, which is my concern. You see? So the whole point was, if we match this, seeing this and understanding this, and we have all of this secured, we make this play, we can go back to base, and now we have, again, a lead to fight for the Herald. And that's what we want. This is the juice that we need. And my one criticism of this play is that he does not focus on the Herald enough. A little bit too much dragon focus. Opportunistic dragons, a thumbs up, great. I'm happy for that. But definitely like seeing Herald be put into one stratagem. Now, obviously, we have ult up, so we want to use ult cooldown to try something. Xayah has no flash, which is crucial, but she does have her ult up again, which makes it a bit more iffy in that situation. If you're going to sequence down and ult bot, then you can do wolves first, but this is fine to shadow. Excellently done. There we go. Tether is going to stick to the Rakan. Oh, that was weird. It looked like it was on the Xayah for a second. We do get rooted, and we hit it, so that's fine. We do lose a Herald, though. As I said, I'm not a fan of swapping the map to this degree. We'll look at a few other games. You will see exactly what I mean. However, good news, good news. Cyan, Baboose on the top lane. Nocturne is basically saying, well, you know what? Let me go again. And I think that's fine. When you know that she has no flash in the ult, there you go. I don't think we needed to do the whole cross country. We could have committed to this a little sooner, but this is fine. See, now this is the final plate here for the tower, and you're looking at 245 armor. And that is why, my friends, we need the Herald. You can do it at this stage, but it is a lot more tanky than you would think. Greeding a little bit for it, absolutely fine, because we have our itemization, we're still Nocturne, we can get the dragon. Volibear isn't in the picture, we do have plants and juices and peaches that we should have eaten this before the dragon. Queued it, pulled it out, you see, now they show up. Katarina, ult down the mid lane. Boom! Collision. Nicely done. Nicely done. But Volibear comes out of nowhere, so. That is the reason I made the video on the last, on Wednesday, to talk about this. Because now look, he gets to activate this Herald, bust is open from your death. Your death causes this. Now, is this death necessarily something you can always avoid? No. Okay, no. But the Volibear's badness does allow him unique angles, shall we say. Like, bad jungling sometimes allows cheese strategies to work. Same thing, jungling in a weird way can allow you to just be somewhere where no one expects, and you get a few cleanup kills. But Nocturne need not feel bad about that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that coaching video. Now remember, if you want to know exactly how to play games without dying, because when you're dead you can't jungle, click the box in the top right. And if you want to understand how to focus your mental and become a digital beast of psychology versus enemy junglers, click the link in the bottom left.